Thank you. All right, Charlene, let's call this meeting to order at 6:31. Can you get a roll call?
Doug Thompson,
Here.
Larry Gladhill,
Here.
Richard Anthony,
Here.
Margot Collins,
She's
excused,
excused. Yeah.
Chuck Fowler,
Here.
Katie is also accused.
Katie is excused.
Accused. Holly Patterson.
Yes.
Nolan Pelletier,
Here.
Tyler Shorman,
Here.
Jada Roche.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tyler, you want to lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Charlene, thank you for sending out the minutes.
Charlene, one correction on the committee assignments on page 2, which I think I already shared via email, but Citizens Petition 2, it lists me. I'm on that because I am the author. It should be Margot.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will make that change.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 5th meeting.
Second. As amended, right?
Who is the second?
As amended.
That's correct.
Is the second? Thank you.
Any other discussions or edits to the minutes? All right, all in favor for accepting the minutes as proposed?
Aye.
Any abstain? Thank you. I'm going to give, on the next section, I'm going to let Tyler speak to all the questions we posed to the Board of Selectmen last week.
Yeah, last meeting, you guys had some different questions that I had taken a list down, things to get some answers on. I feel like I have somewhat answers on most things, some solid answers, but I just wanted to update you guys where we're at, so at least that transparency is there. Currently, the chair of the Board of Selectmen is working on a date for the joint meeting with the Budget Committee. They are open to that. She is pulling the Board of Selectmen for a June or July date. We will have that decided next Monday, and then we'll inform the chair and the members of that date. Email addresses for each Budget Committee member. Asked what the real cost was as a whole, all inclusive. Greg replied with roughly $1,500 per license. Spoke about that with the chair. We're going to try to get an actual real quote so we can actually have a real number to present to you guys. So that's where we stand with that. You guys requested about meeting with department heads before the budget season, maybe once or twice a month, getting someone in here. Not opposed to that. We do have to look at the cost of that, as it would be their off hours. If we're doing evening hours, there would be some overtime for those department heads.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to make sure that the Budget Committee is aware of that. There was a question about why the Board of Selectmen gets the budget before the Budget Committee. Initial understanding is the budget laws state that that's how it works in the SB2 government, but he is going to double check with legal to get clarification to make sure that is the case.
Who said that?
This is from Greg.
Greg, okay.
The target date each month for closing out a prior month financial, Greg reports he is the sole person. He tries to do it as the 15th each month. That is his goal. Doesn't always happen there. It was asked if the ambulance that was in the accident has been back in service, and did we see any reduction in labor costs? There have not been reduction in labor costs, as neighboring towns have let us use their ambulances, so we're still staffing those ambulances. We're just using their actual physical vehicle.
Are we paid, do we have any cost associated to that? Are we reimbursing those towns?
Nope, they're letting us just use the vehicles right now because we're offering the services to their towns. Yep.
Right, Nolan.
So if we're using, I'm just saying Newton's ambulance, who's getting that billing?
If it's their equipment, but it's our staff, is what you're asking.
Yes.
Where the call is.
I might be mistaken. I was under the impression, and it could be, that's what I said. Obviously I don't know the ins and outs and everything in town, but we were still manning one of ours, and then we were using flotational ambulance service from other towns as.
Right. So I was just confirming whether
We're not manning those. We're not manning other towns' ambulances.
they're just letting us use them at our place, and we're staffing them in that regard because ours is still with the manufacturer being repaired. So that one we had bought and that was in the accident that wasn't fault to us is still with the manufacturer in line to be repaired. So in the meantime, other towns have let us use the ambulance while we still staff it like we had our own.
And the follow-up question is, how is that being billed?
I would have to ask that, but I will find out.
Right, thank you.
And Tyler, would you mind asking about the liability? If there was an accident, who's liable for?
It was the other driver. I know Greg confirmed.
No, for if there was an accident with the loaner equipment,
Equipment.
is Plastow on the hook, and is that a written agreement or?
To find out.
What was your question again?
If the Newton, I'm just throwing a town out, if the Newton ambulance is T-boned on Main Street here, we're driving it.
We're driving.
It's their equipment.
Who's liable?
Who's liable and what type of coverage and liabilities are covered.
I would think how it would work is it would fall under our liability, but we can find out more clarification on that.
And I did speak with the chair about ensuring town manager is here for all BudCom meetings. I know he had something with his son this evening, but she did have the conversation. He did say this will be happening barring any unforeseen circumstances this year. He's going to try to ensure he is here at all meetings. No?
If I could just circle back.
Yep.
You were talking about having department heads come in, and you were saying there could be overtime associated with that, correct?
Yes.
Are the department heads on a salary, or are they on an hourly basis?
I would assume based on the fact that it's overtime that would be hourly, but
I would assume as well, but I thought that some of these were salaries, so I just, that would be something I would want.
it might be a mix too, so.
Depends on
And
who's
my,
salary and who's not.
Right.
my follow-up question would be, is if they're required to come to our one budget committee meeting, and let's say they allot 3 hours, I don't see why that would have to be overtime, why they couldn't just be taking out of
Other
somewhere
time.
else in the week. You know, whatever, they have to leave early on Friday or whatever. I just, that seems like a more sensible solution than creating an overtime situation.
I think if we present a structure and say, hey, if we can get them, the one time they come in budget season and maybe one or two others, so it's 3 times a year, so that way they're prepared to know that, hey, 3 times a year, you're going to have to lessen your hours, and we structure it that way. I don't see how that could be.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking like this is going to be
Reoccurring.
They were open to
I'm
it.
sure
though.
it
The town
might
manager
be
said,
reoccurring, but it's not going to be a.
No, but 2 or 3 times at most.
but to answer the question,
Put it in the budget.
you guys wanted to find out if we could make that happen. He said, no, I'm not opposed to that. He just wanted to bring up, hey, what if there's overtime costs associated with that? Let's make sure we're thinking of everything. So that's how I wanted to bring it
Yeah,
back and
I
present it.
appreciate it, and that's why I was offering that as a counter proposal.
Nope. I think that's a good idea. So
So I
I
have
will
a question.
circle back.
Are you done reporting back on what you
I
have?
think so. I think that was my whole checklist.
Okay. So my question is more how things work. So when you're having those conversations with the select board, why are they not happening at a meeting that's televised? Because I watched the last meeting thinking that the list that you had would be going before the Board of Selectmen.
I went strictly to the chair and had her have the meeting with Greg because I wasn't available to meet with him at the time to go over all these items. She wanted that report back, so I was just following the direction of her chair. She said, can you bring everything to me so I can make sure that these things are accomplished and you can report back correctly?
So as a taxpayer, there's some good dialogue that could have been had in the public forum that I think we missed a really good opportunity to have. I don't feel like it's appropriate, in my humble opinion, to have these dialogues on the side away from taxpayers. And that may be how she wanted it, and I hear you're doing what you're told to do.
No, and again, it was more the last Board of Selectmen meeting. Greg did have an emergency and wasn't there, so we weren't able to ask him at the meeting. So in
Understood.
order for me to have the answers for you guys today,
But you get
did
my
what I
point.
could.
You get my point, though, right?
I do.
I mean, all of the
Doing everything
all
I
the
can.
questions that we asked were relevant for a public forum,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the public should hear about the cost of emails and the fact that the budget committee wants the dialogue with the department heads here. So the public only gets one side of it, not the other. So I'm trying to understand when any representative of the select board goes back to the board, when should we as constituents anticipate we should hear that dialogue? Is it at the meetings?
typically it would be. In this
Okay.
case, I wanted to make sure I had this information for you today, so.
Okay, appreciate that.
Isn't that what we're doing now? Talking about it publicly?
We are, but we're not getting the dialogue between all of the select board that would have happened on these questions. So we're missing part of the conversation, Jay.
part of
And we're
past
not getting the
prac-
interaction.
Part of past practices, when there's questions like this, we'd go to the town manager for answers, or department heads, or through the town manager to do that. So, it's a worthwhile, I don't know exactly how much the licenses cost for the mail. So I wouldn't be able to answer that, but we could have those conversations at a meeting. So yeah, maybe next time we take them to the meeting, because usually when the selectmen's reps go to their committee meetings, they'll bring back any information or questions and discuss them there.
And Tyler, this isn't a diss to you in any way, but I watched the meeting, and our stuff didn't get brought up at all. But yet I heard about the scoreboard on the rec side. And again, that's not a disrespect
No,
to
that's
you or
fine.
what you're doing. I think it should be the same for all committee representation, so that I may be one of 10 people who watched the meeting, but I was still watching, and I wanted to hear what your peers had to say about other issues. And it was like, didn't
I'll make
get a
sure to bring it
chance.
up. I wanted to get the answer from the town manager
Yeah,
so
no,
I could
I
actually
appreciate that.
come back to you.
The fact that he wasn't at the meeting.
That wasn't able to do my presentation, but
I was just going to double down. I mean, they're so exciting. I watch all the selecting meetings. They're riveting.
They're just riveting up.
Yes. So I was also watching because in essentially in preparation for our upcoming meeting. And to echo what she's saying, I didn't see that. I know what you did. And kind of double back on our conversation last meeting is that I would have questions about these emails and their cost. It seems unreasonably high. And we had talked about having the town manager at our meetings because it's in our policy. And then yet we're sitting here again without the town manager at our meeting.
1,500 per email seems a little excessive.
It might just be the total.
Okay.
Because what did you guys end up paying out of the planning board?
Not sure yet about that. We're in the process of setting up the emails still.
I think
Are
with
you
this
using the
question,
same provider or a separate
It'd
provider?
probably fall under the
using the
same
same provider.
licensing
I mean, I could-
cost
yeah.
structure, so.
But I would have thought you bought them in
I
tranche.
think when this question was proposed last year, 1,500 was the quote for all emails.
Okay, well,
That's the way I recall it from last year.
And the counterpoint to that, Doug, is frankly, 1,500 for the ability to speed through right to know requests because you have all the information.
Or just to
Hands
communicate.
down.
Or
let's
just
go.
to
Or
communicate in
the
general.
legal polls to
Right.
get access?
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Tyler in regards to last meeting or questions that weren't covered?
I have another list. I will get answers again.
All right, thank you, Tyler.
Please
No
bring
problem.
thank you for bringing the information back.
The next item on the agenda, well, part of that discussion was going into the budget season, meeting with department heads, which Tyler covered. The next item on the agenda is policy. So Charlene included the policy we currently have posted on the website, which is 3 pages, I believe, front and back. Yep. Some of you might have read this prior. You might be familiar with this policy. There's not much to it. Larry, in his downtime, wrote a small book for us that's kind of summarized that, and also took snippets of RSAs and various other information. Larry, if you want to speak to how you put this together for us.
Hang on, just so I understand. So you put this entirety together?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
okay.
So it started for me last year when I joined.
I do have another commitment tonight, so I wanted to come here and at least
Thank you,
answer
Tyler.
what I had for
Go
questions.
Nationals.
guys. Jay is here, is our representative for the remainder of the evening. All right?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Go Nationals. So I looked at the operating procedures last year and I was like, oh, there's got to be more meat behind this cow. There's something missing here. And I kept looking at the website and nothing there. And then, obviously listening to the constituents, listening to my peers on this board, there's a lot of need for transparency. There's a lot more need for guardrails. And so just doing some homework and looking through this, I started compiling notes of amendments and additions and omissions and changes. Before I knew it, my notes were probably about 20-something pages long. And I said, we've got to do something a little bit better. So I thought, instead of having a 2.5-page document, let's put this in a proper order. Let's put this in, and this by means is no thou shalt. I want this to be a collective effort. I want this to be a starting stone. My recommendation is that we take a look at this and decide at the August meeting to have this approved. And I want everyone to take a look at it because there are things in here that I am frustrated with, like the town manager not being here. There are some requirements that are in here that are going to hold him accountable to those needs, right? Same with reporting structures. What are we getting in the financial reports and how should we absorb them? And so just, and I know that, look, some of you, I know, Holly, you come from the corporate world. Red lines, there's nothing I could do to redline this, but I did send out, and hopefully we'll send it out after the meeting, is a comparison on what is existing and what I'm adding as an additive. And so hopefully that will help, but I'm happy to sit down and talk to anybody and grab some coffee. And
If you
go through
can,
it.
I think it would be great if you had, so obviously you compiled this from a variety of different sources, and I think it would be prudent and fair to share your sources with the aggregate
Sure.
of the committee,
Yeah.
and at least then we all know where it
Can
came from.
reference, yeah.
And we can back into, I'm not suggesting malintent in any
Oh, no,
way,
no.
but
Yeah.
we can back into where you got to this
Yep.
and peg it to a vote by the town or what have you.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
And so just to highlight some of the existing concepts, right? Budget committee purpose under the RSA Chapter 32, the 8 large budget committee members on staggering terms, all that stuff is here. Town manager attendance and support. I added some language around that to help us, right? Charlene's role as the committee clerk, she does a lot, but it's not in here. There's a lot here that we do that's not documented in the existing policy. And
Take
this,
it for granted, yeah.
this was my process. So, there's not much change. I think what you're going to see when you read through this is, for example, on page 22, right, is an expanded governance framework, right, where we start to talk a little bit more about the RSA, the RACI, right, the roles, accountability, right?
Can you put the acronyms on the bottom of this?
It's
page? 'Cause
actually-
I know it is, but I
It's actually
kept
on
trying to
it's
flip.
on Appendix A.
I know, but I kept
Yeah, I
flipping
can do it.
back and forth. I'm like, wait, let's put them on the same
It
page.
just to help. Who's responsible for this? Who needs to be informed? Who's accountable? And this will help kind of. And look, I may have gotten something wrong here, and I'm looking to my peers on this board to help me hone this in. But I think this is a better stepping stone on what we're looking at, right? Clear definitions. We talked a lot about orientation and training. You could throw the RSAs at somebody, but do they actually know it? Like, Holly made it mention a couple times. I don't know the ins and outs. Nolan, you've mentioned as well. I don't know the ins and outs about town, but there should be a stepping stone for someone like Chuck coming into the board. Here's your starting point. This is what you need to know.
Well, one thing Jay suggested, and I already reached out to Greg again this year, is to have a workshop or a camp, a training seminar to go through the different funding sources and the budget procedure. Actually, Liz Costa is going to get back to me on a date.
I mean, we have resources available to us. We can,
But let's list them here. Let's make sure they're called out where to get them, because with the website change, things are hard to find even more now.
Plus, the state of New Hampshire once or twice a year does put on a
Updates the-
seminar or webinar.
And
Unfortunately,
not for nothing, stuff on the website gets buried.
Yes.
I mean, all due respect to anybody affiliated with this, but I found it really interesting that the bidding for the sale of the 2 trucks from the town was not posted on recent news in the scroll. It was like buried 4 things under. Like the whole world should know we're trying to sell 2 trucks
Right.
and get as great a bidding as we can get. And it was not part of the scroll. Like, what the heck? It is to our best interest to maximize every cent we get out of that.
Some of the other areas that we've highlighted and tried to improve on is the quorum and voting rules. We're defining the quorum right now. There's nothing in here that says we're an 8-member, at large, but what is quorum?
define it.
Define it. So we're putting some definitions around our actions, public comment and decorum. I think there's been a number of discussions even from last year, like when is public session at our meetings? Is it at the end? Is it at the beginning, or is it ad hoc? Or is that the will of the chair? So I think it's something that we need to hone in and define. Code of conduct, conflict of interest, right? Last year I saw a lot of discussion around, conflict of interest, invested interest, and how does that play out? And so I think it's opportunity for us to come together and define how we're going to interact and what we're going to interact with. Attendance policy, right? It's there, just, expanding on the wording a little bit. The town manager and department head participation, I think that's an essential thing that we need to find in our policy.
Question?
Yes.
So when you say adopted and amended, that this document that you created is adopted and amended from this 3-pager.
Yeah.
Basically,
So-
that's what you're referencing. on
The
page
original was
1.
adopted in October
That's
2016?
this.
Correct. This was
3-pager.
amended in September of 2024, and then the
Got it.
proposed revision is obviously
Got
today's date or whatever date we land on. And, you know, to that point, right, so we looked at the number of the RSAs, we looked at a number of other towns' budget committee policies.
Who's we?
Myself, I use the collective we.
Okay. You're royal.
I try.
Okay.
And so looking at that, I said, you know, we need to put a little more fat on bones here and ensure that we have the appropriate guidelines in there. You know, meeting transparency, right? You know, there was a lot of volleying back and forth on when meetings are posted and when we're going to actually have these sessions.
I mean, to speak to that, I think what we did last meeting and setting the date was what we should do moving forward.
Exactly. Put the calendar forth, and you know, if the town manager can't make it, then we should just gotta.
Pause.
Yep.
Jake?
The only suggestion, 2 suggestions with this operating procedure. One, I noticed that it didn't talk about the selectmen's rep, the ex officio, how they're assigned to this. Maybe add something about that.
Should be in there.
You know, once this committee finalizes this document, you know, I'd suggest you run it by legal and make sure that it
Oh, yeah.
falls
Yeah.
within the RSA's.
Page
I'm sure
13.
you've done your due diligence in looking at all the RSA's and making sure the language all lines up, but just from a legal
Oh, for sure.
perspective, we should probably have someone review it.
But does this procedure, to follow up on Jay's point, does this procedure need to go before the voters? To redefine
No,
the
because it's an
budget?
operating, it's an operating procedure
Okay.
for us. However, it is recommended that it is reviewed by legal because I am not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV. So,
That's good.
When you list the number of, 8 at-large members, that's not including the ex officio
Correct.
member.
Correct.
So it's, the budget committee is 9. It's 9 voting.
but according to this existing policy, it's 8.
But per the RSA, there's language in there that talks about the ex officio
Yeah, the ex
member.
officio member is a
I would
voting
just-
member.
Yeah, we can.
No, it doesn't have to be elaborate, just maybe something to include, but it's up to you guys.
We all have our homework to do if we get the data.
Yep.
I'm happy to read through it.
And my goal is, like I said, is I don't think we obviously can't, and I apologize for sending it late last night, but I've been going through these notes and I'm going, I can't just sit here and say, all right, let's amend this line, let's reshuffle this.
What does that mean? Where did this come from then?
I figured it's more important for me to rewrite it and put it in front of you all and let you dissect it and see where we land. That's what my intention was.
Yeah, I appreciate the work put into this, but yeah, I mean, I saw it come in this morning and I really did. I only had like 5 minutes when I got in here to kind of like leaf right through it. The nature of my work, I don't sit in front of a computer, so I can't just I can pull on my phone, but then need my readers, and it's not conducive to what I'm doing. So I will digest it. I do see a couple things that I might want to take issue with and maybe want to discuss, but I'd rather go through the whole thing and take some notes and then come back and talk about it.
And like I said, I mean, I took a stab at it. If anyone else has recommendations on the operating procedures, right, that's what we're here for today. So I'm happy to include those in this. And
I'm appreciative. I don't want it to sound like I'm not. I'm just saying.
I felt bad sending it at 11:30 last night. I'm like,
No,
I didn't
but
say
get the
this-
source documents
Jump this
so we
morning
can read
myself,
what
so.
you read and we'll go from there. It's an attempt at improvement. Did anybody else notice that the television, televised is a delay?
Yeah, there's like a 20-second delay.
Okay, I'm not crazy then. Okay, I'm just, that's odd.
Yeah.
Just in case I swear, in
it's
case I
the-
drop a bomb,
exactly. it's
because
the
I
bleep
might,
button.
you never know,
It might have happened.
a couple of times.
Well, most of the time when we start a meeting, we sit there and stare at the TV until it comes on.
Okay, I'm a plumber's daughter and I might mistakenly.
Any other comments on the work that Mary did?
Thank you.
No, it looks very good. I mean, I have a couple suggestions that, maybe we don't discuss them tonight, but just sort of, just at least to read it into the record. I think there should be something where we explicitly indicate a date certain when we have the reorg, so it isn't just some sort of post election and between then and September. So there should be something where,
I think currently it suggests mid-April, mid to late April.
yeah,
Suggested.
yeah, but it should be date certain.
Let's put a target
But I'm
on it.
not even sure if that's a town policy, if that's just.
I don't see it in here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's not in there, then it's not in our policy and procedure.
It
So
could be a state, it could be a
And you could
recommendation by
say
the
something
state.
like. the
I don't
first
think
week
it's
in
a state
April,
issue.
You know, you need to have a meeting by the first week of April or something like that.
Or X days after the election.
Yeah, or 21 days after the election. Because
But we should
people
say
time
that.
to get, sworn in and all that.
Well, the problem is you have what, 4 weeks to get sworn in?
Yes.
We should be reorganizing before that anyways, so I think 21 days is probably.
That's plenty. I mean, that's
So I think some people weren't sworn in until the last day.
I
that's
showed
on
up
that's on
here
them,
and sworn
right?
in. Oh, no, yeah, I was last. Yeah.
I don't know who.
Technically, I was last because the wrong person swore me in.
Oh, okay.
So we got that corrected.
But worst case scenario, or maybe even the best case scenario, if a selectman were here at a meeting, you could swear them in, Jay.
Absolutely.
Impromptu on the spot. So, I mean, we're not, so that we're not held up by someone can get into town hall.
I'm happy to share the Word document version and
Yeah.
let you. Word.
No, I'm just putting it out there just so that,
I would just ask any edits are redlined.
Oh, for sure. Now we have a working document.
Please.
I'm happy to even
I
post
thought,
it. So we-
I didn't realize this was brand new, so I'm like, give me the red line edits, so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, because I in my world, I take policies and I look at it and I'm like, I chew it up and I regurgitate it. So this is what I do for work and
Yep, that's fine.
it's fun.
I get it.
yeah, and I think, additionally, we should parse out the excused and not excused. I know that there's a distinction that someone can't be here and they're excused for whatever,
Yeah.
or if they're absent, but they're also, in fairness to the board and things like that, there should be, some sort of cumulative threshold that you just can't be excused for like, a significant percentage of the meeting and just because you're excused. I mean, things happen, but in fairness.
Right. I think we had an issue 2 years ago.
Huh?
I think we had an issue with attendance.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, whether or not, but I'm just saying that it's, it's a real situation, so, but we should spell it out so people know that, you're expected to be here, but if you can't, and it reaches a point where, life seems to get in the way, then,
It's an
maybe you
accountability
should,
to the taxpayer to
Yeah, maybe
say
you
their
should-
representation. Yeah.
maybe that should be, addressed informally or there should be a formal
You
mechanism.
might have to dig into NHMA on that one because there's no legal or RSA that states you can dismiss someone based on.
Not
number of
dismissed, but I mean, it
excused
should be,
absences or something on
Well,
committee. It's
if
just worth asking the question.
If there's 3 consecutive, we can dismiss them if we see fit.
well, I don't think you can dismiss them.
If there's 3 consecutive unexcused absences, there can be a conversation about removing the member from the committee.
Right.
Well, there's a mechanism, and I don't think the board itself can remove a member. All right. I know that, let's say, on other boards, if let's say, if there's an issue in other boards, specifically the planning board, you can appeal to the Board of Selectmen if someone needs to be compelled to be removed. But at some point you can exhort.
Can't we ask legal?
Can I finish?
I'm
Can I
sorry.
finish? Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that you can exhort that, like, listen, it's not fair. It can be a matter of discussion, and the person could turn around and say that, no, I'm not going to leave no matter what.
Or they could
Show
resign,
up.
or they could, yeah.
But I don't think we can remove one of
No,
them.
we can look into it. I know that,
Yeah, I know we can.
I know there's verbiage there.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think.
If somebody's missing 80% of the meetings, then they don't belong here and they should just,
Well, that's what I mean. It
Step
should be. They should. That's the word.
and if they don't, then it's got to be a way to get rid of them.
I mean, the budget season's only, 4 or 5 months of the season anyway, so if they miss 12 meetings, the season's going to be over before you know it. Any other suggestions for this proposed policy?
And just one last one. I know that because we don't have, we have a regional school district, all right? And the RSA, when it talks about membership on a school board and a municipal budget committee, it references a non-district school school board. Right, but I also think that, but in light of that, I think that having representation, on this board where, let's say, people are in an officer position and then an officer position on the school board, I think that's too much influence over taxpayer obligations. So I propose that there be some sort of a rule, at least on the municipal side here, that says that if you're on the school board.
So if you actually read the conflict of interest section, I put some language in there around kind of that area.
I don't know if it's not properly a conflict. It is conflict of interest like, and the RSA does, recognize that if it's a non-regional school district, then there are the things that you can't be on both. So, but I at least think we should say that you shouldn't be able to, if you're going to be on the school board, then you probably shouldn't be in an officer position on the municipal budget committee. I mean, you can't prohibit them from being on the budget committee, but you can say that, maybe you can't occupy an officer position. Now, and then the school board makes that distinction too, that if they have a budget committee and they have a representative from the school board on the budget committee, but per the RSA, that representative's a non-voting member. So, I mean, I'm not saying something that's outlandish. I just think that you can't have somebody that's going to be on both sides of things and potentially impacting both sides of the tax obligations,
Well, we can consider that, but
Didn't you have a lawyer come last year?
so there might be a conflict with.
Talk about that? multiple
We did,
times?
Well-
and he specifically
one
said,
time.
he specifically said that you couldn't prohibit somebody from being on the budget committee, and that would require a change of the RSA at the state level. Right. But what we're saying is that we're not prohibiting, but we're saying that in terms of electing officer positions,
Chair and vice chair.
chair and vice chair.
Oh, chair and vice chair.
Yeah. So,
The sooner you can get the source docs, the more time we all have to digest those.
I have most of it called out in the comparison document that I sent over, so you'll get it tonight.
You can make an argument for all of that, though. Like, say anyone on this committee doesn't want to be the chair, and the only person that wants to be the chair happens to be on the school board. Like, I'm not saying no one wants to be chair. I'm just using that as an example. It's like trying to excuse someone that might have been out on medical leave and couldn't be here for a couple months. Like, that's where the excuse and unexcused come in. But just, I don't see why you couldn't put language in there, but as long as it falls within the RSA, you're not
Additional language.
overstepping. Like,
Isn't that what legal's going to suss out?
yes.
Like, they're going to
exactly.
decide, so we should put Nirvana
Put in as much language as possible and let
Like,
legal cut
to
it out.
Richard's,
Yeah, go
they-
for it.
like, let's
Put it in.
go. If it's legal, it's legal.
Yeah, I mean,
Or if to tweak it, if we have to tweak it, we have to tweak it.
Yep.
Any other comments to the work that Larry did here?
Great job, Larry.
Great job.
Oh, excellent.
Good.
Like I said, I apologize for setting it late, but I kept going and I said enough. It's 11:30 at night. I need to get some sleep, so.
Now, I think we covered policies based on this. Any other policy amendments or additions that weren't covered tonight before we move on?
well, I would like to revisit it. Like I said, I leave.
Oh, no, we're going to
Yeah,
table it for,
Yeah, so we're just going to table it to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
The only other item on the agenda is new business or old business. I think we've covered old business, so unless somebody has new business. Tyler's not here. When is the first opportunity you think we could, the budget process really doesn't start till late summer, correct?
Correct.
So I know Tyler's working on, or Liz Costa's working on putting together some joint sessions with you guys and some training. I don't know when those could happen. So,
He said June or July that they're looking at dates, so that's.
I don't know if you want to set a date now, or if you just want to wait until we hear back from the BOD.
I mean, why don't we just set a date for June and we can talk about our policy? We're tabling it. I mean, then when we actually have business come before us, our policy will be done.
It's a good idea. So, yeah,
Do you think in the second Tuesday of June? Should be June.
The 9th?
Is
It's
it-
2 weeks.
How about the 16th?
I was gonna say, go further out, 16.
Can't believe John.
I can't do the 23rd. I'm most likely traveling for work.
Does June 16th work for everybody?
I can't do the 16th, I'm on vacation.
It's okay.
And then after that, I'm busy doing, I also work part-time for American Thunder Fireworks.
Okay.
And that's becomes our busy season, like the third week in June until mid-July.
Did you guys want to meet on June 9th? Or is that too soon?
That seems too soon.
Yeah, I would say either the 16th or the 28th.
16th or the what? 23rd?
28th.
23rd or?
23rd. Okay, I don't have my glasses on. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. I'm like 28th. That doesn't
You can't
align.
do the 23rd, correct?
I don't know. It's not definitive yet. I'm waiting for a response from the boss, so.
So
So we'll,
other than Mr. Fowler, the 16th looks okay?
I believe so, yeah. Is that okay, Chuck?
It's okay with me as long as it doesn't go through Facebook that I'm not here.
No, you'll have it in advance. If you have any comments, can you please share them?
Yep,
Edits?
yep.
Right, so that's June 16th, and the focal point will be updating the policies.
Do we have to start at 6:30? Is that like the absolute? Can we start earlier?
Start,
We start at 6?
Time you want.
yeah, I can start at 6 if the,
If we can do 6, that's
are you guys
preferred
okay
by
with
me
6?
as well.
Does 6 o'clock work for you too?
I prefer 6:30, but I can.
Okay.
6:15?
So,
All right.
Now we're
split the difference.
splitting hairs.
All right, come on.
Also, you have to consider
just-
Charlene
well-
too. And she'd do 6 or 6.
Well, Charlene, what works for you?
None of them, no.
I thought I got you.
well, if you, let's meet at 6:30, the next meeting,
Okay.
and then going forward, we can see what's best for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to 6. It just depends. Some days if I'm working in Boston and I'm on the other side of Boston, I'm coming back. Like that
You're
half hour
dead in
makes
traffic.
all the difference in the world. If I'm working local, yeah, 6 is no problem.
Okay, so let's do 6:30 for the next meeting, and going forward, when we have a full board, we can ask, what's best for the group.
Okay.
If there's no other comments,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
all right, a second.
Second.
Let's adjourn at 7:08. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Larry.
Aye.